Very good evening all. Let's start the session. Tandanji, I want you to put your camera on and pull up your CrPC, please. Hello, Bilal.
In fact, can we have everybody turning on the cameras, please?
Everybody is an impossible proposition. That hasn't happened in past and it won't happen today. Let's see. 100 की लगाते हैं.
हेलो सर.
राघव जीतेगा या मैं जीतूंगा?
रुक जाओ. इसने ऑन नहीं किया.
Raghav, just give me 5 minutes. I'll be back on camera.
नहीं, मेरे पास है रिमूव करने का ऑप्शन. बाकी सारे कोर्सेज के लिंक तो मैं नहीं देने व्हाट्सएप पे.
करेक्ट.
आ जाओ सारे एक एक करके. 100 रुपए बांट लेंगे सब.
सही बात है. I can increase the price if you say. Fire. ये अर्नब इसमें 1 मिनट इंक्वेस्ट रिपोर्ट वाला इंडेक्स में से पीछे से निकालना. This is something which I marked. I missed that. इंडेक्स में मिल जाएगा इंक्वेस्ट रिपोर्ट के ऊपर कुछ है जजमेंट. Okay. Is Tandanji there or somebody else is going to assist me? Aditya, you have your CrPC?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you please pull out section 174? Guys, I have this bad acute cough, so I might be coughing in between. Please excuse me for that. Okay.
Yes, so 174.
Yes, please.
Should I read?
Yes, please.
Police to inquire and report on suicide, etc. When the officer in charge of a police station or some other police officer, especially empowered by the state government in that behalf, receives information that a person has committed suicide or has been killed by another, or by an animal, or by machinery, or by an accident, or has died under circumstances raising a reasonable suspicion that some other person has committed an offense, he shall immediately give.
Your voice is getting echoed. Your voice is getting
I think it's the earphones, Aditya, if you can remove them.
तो हमने पॉड्स हटाने पड़ेंगे या उसको डिस्कनेक्ट कर लो या म्यूट कर लो. You can mute yourself.
Better now, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Much better.
Should I read again?
Please, no, just start from where you left.
Okay.
Has died under the circumstances.
Has died under the circumstances raising a reasonable suspicion that some other person has committed an offense. He shall immediately give intimation thereof to the nearest executive magistrate, empowered to hold inquests, and unless otherwise directed by any rule prescribed by the state government or by any general or special power of the district or subdivisional magistrate, shall proceed to the place where the body of such deceased person is, and there, in the presence of 2 or more respectable inhabitants of the neighborhood, shall make an investigation and draw up a report of the apparent cause of death, describing such wounds, fractures, bruises, and other marks of injury as may be found on the body, and stating in what manner or by what weapon or instrument, if any, such marks appear to have been inflicted.
All right. I want you to hold here.
Yeah.
So guys, this particular section is very important for the cases where the death is being reported. Okay. Sorry. To begin with, there could be multiple reasons for the death. Somebody has committed suicide. It could be homicide. It could be a bull came running and she hit the villager. उसको गुस्सा आ गया, वो लाल कपड़ा दिखा रहा था, उसको जो भी कर रहा था, उसको बुल ने मार डाला. He was probably sleeping drunk on the roadside, and a truck came at the speed of 80-100 and truck crushed him and left. ट्रक को पता भी नहीं चला कि ऐसा कुछ हुआ. ट्रेलर. तो बहुत सारे reasons हो सकते हैं डेथ के. All right, it could be a suicide or it could be a homicide. 2 parallel words. Homicide is किसी ने मारा. Suicide मतलब आपने अपने आप को मारा. ठीक है, तो इंक्वेस्ट रिपोर्ट का मतलब होता है, अब ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने बोल दिया, आपने फोन किया पुलिस को, you called police 112 and you say, I see I opened the door and I see my girlfriend hanging on the ceiling, from the ceiling, or I opened my door and I saw my girlfriend bleeding and she was unconscious or she was found dead. There could be so people informing police left, right, and center about a death. And in most cases, the person who's an informant could be the killer. All right. The boyfriend could be the killer, the husband could be the killer, the sibling could be the killer, the child could be the killer of the whole family क्योंकि उसने उनको PUBG नहीं खेलने दिया, या the family would stop him from playing video games. There could be number of reasons for a death. Now the inquest report as a procedure is finding the reason, the prima facie reason of death. By who? By the police. Okay. So informant informs the police. Maybe the police officer informs the police station nearby to come and identify anybody could be the informant here. The moment they have the information of a death, the first thing police is going to do is they're going to inform the executive magistrate, who's the SDM, district magistrate. They're going to inform the head of the police in the city. All right. DC को inform करेंगे, इन सबको inform करेंगे कि look, there is a death in the so and so. We found a dead body, half dead body in park in front of the hard jail. Whatever has happened, that's the first thing they're going to do. In case of FIR, they need to send the copy of the FIR to judicial magistrate. Here the crime has happened. They need to inform to the executive magistrate. All right. And after this point, the police officer moves to the site of occurrence. They go and they move to the site of occurrence. The first thing, this is what the protocol starts. Who has seen Delhi Crime Season 2? The this gang story. Sorry, it's the Kacha Banyan gang murders. Is anybody aware of Kacha Banyan gang murders in Delhi? Okay, these kind of murders. Who's aware?
I am aware, sir. Abhijit.
Abhijit, tell us what you know about Kacha Banyan gang murders.
So they used to. They first used to identify a place where they used to, attack that house and steal whatever they used to find, and very weird things they used to do. Whatever is there in the, they had a very, what do I say? The modus operandi was very different, as in they used to create a lot of mess in the house, eat whatever they have in the fridge, and then they used to kill the residents as well.
Correct. So thank you, Abhijit. So it was basically a Adivasi community which was famous for these kind of murders, and they had certain pockets. Delhi was once a very important sector for them. Why? They used to basically commit murders without wearing any clothes, only banyan and underwear, and they used to apply oil all over their body. Okay, the reason for applying oil was so that if somebody is trying to catch hold of them, the hand is going to slip and they'll be able to run. So this was their modus operandi. Now this Delhi Crime Season 2 or Season 3, I don't remember. Most likely it's Season 2. It's all about
Delhi
them.
Crime Season 2.
I'm sorry, Charu.
Delhi Crime Season 2.
Yes, it's Season 2. I request everybody to watch it. It's again the DCP South. The first season is the Nirbhaya case. The second one is this gang. And it's a real story. It's based on a real story. It's not a made-up story. You can go in Wikipedia what Kacha Banyan gang is and what murders is. They're still active in some part of the country. Now, they basically comes from a very poor socio-economic background where they were deprived of the education. They were deprived of a lot of things. and it's a very notorious community. They live in slums. So the entire series show you how the inspector who was experienced in catching these guys, he was already retired, but he was called by the superiors to basically work on this case, and he unfolds the whole story. So this is what it is about. So in a particular case, when the story unfolds, there is a murder of two senior citizens in a posh colony of Delhi, and the police is called to investigate. So there's nobody else in the house. So the first thing first, what the police does is they basically seals the area. So the crime scene is being sealed. Okay? The crime scene is being sealed, and they start a lot of murder mysteries and a lot of investigations, courtroom dramas you must have seen. Then they start analyzing what could be the reason of death. The police officer goes near to the dead body. They wear gloves. They would turn them around and see where the wounds are. Is it a skull fracture? Is it a stab wound? It is whatever. So they make a prima facie case of what has happened. Is there a weapon nearby? They make a prima facie case. Analyzing, is it a homicide or it is a suicide? That is the first thing they need to distinguish based on what has happened there, because it will be very obvious somebody has killed herself or himself and somebody is killing you. That's the first thing. Soon after, then the special forensic teams comes. Forensic team will start pulling up the important things. They'll start taking the samples from the blood. They'll start taking the samples from the clothes. They'll start, if there is a pillow cover they think they should put it in the plastic bag, they will put the pillow cover in the plastic bag. If there is a weapon they think it's important, there could be a knife lying around, so on and so forth. So the forensic team does their work. All this, if there is no forensic team, the Havaldar or the constable or the assistant of police, they are prepared. In India, what they show in the web series is a little different than what happens in real life. So in practice, mainly it's the Havaldars who pull up that stuff, they put it in a plastic bag, they seal it, they give it a name. Why do they need to give it a name?
For the purpose of exhibition?
Absolutely. So every sample police has collected from the site of occurrence, it has given a certain code. And the person who's doing it at that point in time or later at a different stage, he's going to write it in the diary entry. That, look, I am Havaldar Ram Singh at 703 Malviya Nagar, New Delhi, house number 516, whatever it is. I collected so-and-so sample and I handed over to a different constable to be taken to FSL. So why do you think it's important for them to mention the entire thing? Ki kitne baje sample collect kiya, what time did he give to the other guy, what time did the other guy pass it on to the FSL? Why do you think it is all important for them to document?
The chain of custody, sir, and preservation of document, evidence here, so that the evidence does not get contaminated.
So evidence is fresh. Okay, you're not going to say, ki, look, I collected the blood spots 2 days after the murder or 3 days after the murder. It needs to be collected then and there, because otherwise it could be a tainted evidence. You could have collected a blood of a bakri and gone and spilled it there. You could have planted evidence. So sooner the evidence collected, the stronger is the prosecution's case. The more they drag. What happened in Talwar's case? The entire crime scene was spoiled. Everyone was allowed in the house. You don't know what happened because nothing was being videographed by then. You don't know what happened in those 12 hours or 24 hours. Media only started to come later on, na? So police was there. What happened on the table? What was planted? What was not planted? What was ignored? No one has an idea. Absolutely no one has an idea what happened in those initial 12 hours. So why they eventually got acquittal? Because prosecution, the investigating agency did a shoddy job. You know, they could not reach. There was no evidence to actually conclude that who was the criminal. So the first initial hours is very, very important, and inquest report is part of that thing. So it's different departments who work together. Everything happens simultaneously. Samples are being collected, prima facie cases being made that how the death has happened, and then they move. Once everything is done, that's when the paramedics will come and the dead body will be put into an ambulance. At this stage, the police is going to write an application for the post-mortem report. So anything they want to request, a government agency, for instance, they want to request medicals to be done on a live person, they want request autopsy to be done on a dead body. Does anybody know the difference between biopsy and autopsy?
Autopsy is basically postmortems of the dead body. Biopsy is that you take out piece from the living person's body for whether it's cancerous or not.
So it's a living tissue or it's a dead tissue. Autopsy is on a dead tissue. Biopsy is on a living tissue.
Malignancy.
Yes, ma'am.
To prove the malignancy.
Biopsy?
Taken to prove the malignancy.
Yeah.
I would beg to differ here, Nandini, because malignancy is just a diagnosis. Biopsy could be identifying the reason of a disease. So maybe it's a you just take out a tissue to basically see what is the cause of disease. That's what biopsy is. Mostly it is used in the case of cancer to rule out if there is a cancer or not. But it basically leads to examination, microscopic examination of a living tissue. Okay, to further enhance your widen your scope, who can tell me the difference between physiology and pathology?
The pathology is regarding the blood cells.
I'm sorry.
The pathology is dealing with the blood cells, no?
No. Okay, physiology is the study of healthy body tissues. Okay, if we study your vitals, we study everything, whatever is happening in your body. Pathology is basically study of diseased tissues. Not disease in the sense of death. Some diseases happened. So if I'm going to study under microscope a tissue which is supposed to be, like, for instance, my skin has freckles, or I remove a mole and I study under the microscope, then it becomes the pathology, because there is a disease. It's not a normal tissue. Okay.
I wanted to say it as body cells, not blood cells.
Nandini, or not, you also need to remove the headphones before you speak, because I don't think headphones work well with the laptops. That's what my observation is. Never mind. Okay, we are digressing a bit. Now coming back to the point. So I hope all of you have understood that what happens when the death is reported to the police. All right. So all those things happen simultaneously. So the police officer will be, one of the assistants will be preparing a request letter for the post-mortem. So if you're a smarter police unit, you would have already something typed, and all you're going to do is you're going to fill date, time, person diseased, identify, so on and so forth, and you're going to forward that letter to the hospital. Now, going back to the part he was reading, Aditya was reading, apparent cause of death, describing such wounds, fractures, bruises, and other marks of injury as may be found in the body, and stating in what manner or by what weapon or instrument such marks appears to be have inflicted. So it's all prima facie establishment. If there is a chakku used, if there is a sword used, if there is a hammer used, the police is going to state in their inquest report that, look, I suspect it is a hammer. It is not a sharp blade injury. All right. I'll just close my door, guys. 1 second. Okay. Aditya, can you please continue reading from the second one?
Yes.
So I've got one query here, sir.
Yes.
So you said generally when making the inquest report, the police mentions it that whether it's a case of suicide or homicide. So can you just give some explanation? How do they go about deciding?
Deciding on their experience, deciding on, I'm going to show you an inquest report very soon. And based on what they have collected, they are going to come to a conclusion. It's very obvious what kind of injury it is. If a bull is going to come and stab with the horns in your stomach, it's obvious that the bull has done it. You know, maybe you find a bull with blood-coated horns very nearby. उसको फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा कि उसने किसी को मारा है. He's an innocent animal. It's obvious. I mean, it's a suicide. You would know. You know, you jumped into the lake. There's nobody to report. Nobody knew that you have jumped into the lake. If it's an accident, your friends are going to call police now. If it's an accident that you drowned, but you've jumped into the lake, you've jumped into the lake. Maybe you left a suicide note. Maybe you WhatsApp. Maybe you were live while jumping into the lake. Maybe you were making a TikTok video or Instagram reel, which went wrong. You will find out. That's the whole part of the investigation. They're establishing a prima facie case. It's not the investigation is complete. Okay. A lot of times it happens that it's a suicide case and the family comes and says, no, it's not a suicide, it's a murder. Then the negotiation happens. Please register an FIR against the husband. Please do this, please do that. All right. So, yes, let's continue, Aditya.
Yeah. Subsection 2. The report shall be signed by such police officer and other persons, or by so many of them as concur therein, and shall be forthwith forwarded to the district magistrate or the sub-divisional magistrate. Continue, sir. Subsection 3. When first, the case involves suicide by a woman within 7 years of her marriage, or second, the case relates to the death of a woman within 7 years of her marriage in any circumstances raising a reasonable suspicion that some other person committed an offense in relation to such women. Third, or the case relates to the death of a woman within 7 years of her marriage and any relative of the woman has made a request in this behalf. Or fourth, there is any doubt regarding the cause of death. Or fifth, the police officer for any other reason considers it expedient so to do, he shall, subject to such rules as the central government, the state government may prescribe in this behalf, forward the body with a view to its being examined to the nearest civil surgeon or other qualified medical man appointed in this behalf by the state government, if the state of the weather and the distance admit of its being so forwarded without risk of such putrefaction on the road as would render such examination useless. Fourth, the following magistrates are empowered to hold inquests, namely any district magistrate or subdivisional magistrate or any other executive magistrate especially empowered in this behalf by the state government or the district magistrate.
So point number 3, second, the report shall be signed by such police officer or other persons. That's obvious. And shall be forthwith forwarded to DM and subdivisional magistrate, right? So it needs to be forwarded to all these authorities. The third part says it's all talking about the dowry deaths, involves a suicide by a woman with 7 years of marriage, which IPC is attracted.
(304A).
Yes. Case relates to the death of a woman within 7 years of a marriage in any circumstance raising reasonable suspicion that some other person committed an offense. Case relates to death of a woman within 7 years. Any relative of a woman had made a request in this behalf. And who does it? Generally, father or the mother of the woman. All they're going to say is कि हमारी बेटी को इन्होंने दहेज के लालच में मार दिया. There is any doubt regarding the cause of death. If there is a doubt, the police officer, for any other reason, considers it expedient to do, he shall, subject to such rules as the state government may prescribe, forward the body with a view of it being examined to the nearest civil surgeon or other qualified medical man appointed in this behalf by the state government, if the state of the weather and the distance admit of being so forwarded without risk of such putrefaction on the road as would render such examination useless. So basically, the next step is post-mortem report, which the CrPC has in a very complicated way mentioned. So these are the reasons. So the most important reason is there is a doubt regarding the cause of the death. If it is something very, 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 very obvious, that I'll tell you an example. For instance, there is a death in the house. The father was a diseased man, old man. You know, he suddenly got a heart attack. They might not do a post-mortem. Or he was undergoing lung treatment and he suddenly gone unconscious or could not breathe. There was sudden panic attack and his pulse stopped. They're really not going to go for the post-mortem. You know, they're going to go to the cremation ground. He was an aged man, so on and so forth. Especially if you are above 60 and you've died in the house, peaceful death, there's no injury, nothing of that sort. They don't do any post-mortems. So what he's saying is there is doubt regarding the cause of death. So there is a suspicion regarding the cause of death. If it's not an animal who has killed him, whatever could be the reasons. Police makes a call that do they really want to send this dead body for the post-mortem or not. Okay? And where do they get this power from? Section 174, subclause 3 ka fourth point. The police officer, for any other reason, consider it expedient to do so, subject to such rules as by the local government, would forward the dead body to the civil surgeon. All right.
Yes.
And the following magistrates are empowered to hold the inquest: DM, SDM, and any other executive magistrate empowered in this behalf by the state government. So this section talks all about your inquest report, which interchangeably is also called death report, and PMR. I'm going to now show you how a death report or inquest report looks like. I am going to share my screen. Host disabled, participant screen sharing. Host, you need to allow my screen sharing. Okay.
So one query here, sir.
Yes, sir.
When we say in the subsection 4 of 174, following magistrates are empowered to hold inquest. Well, what is the meaning of to hold inquest? What does actually it imply?
Basically, they're supervising it.
Actually, that sending of the body.
The way
post-mortem.
magistrate supervises the registration of FIR and the investigation while sitting in the court, similarly, executive magistrates also it's in their supervision.
Whatever formalities are being done by sending it for post-mortem.
Precisely. Okay. Can everybody see my screen? Guys, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Death report. You can see death report, unnatural death due to violent means. Location, district, police station, date, death report number, district. Now, Haryana has a predefined form which they need to fill. Okay, it starts with name of the place where the death occurred or the dead body was found, right in detail. So they need to mention the site of occurrence. All right. Thereafter, distance and direction of place where the death occurred or the dead body found from the station. So police station say how far was the dead body found? 2 kilometers east. Date and time of the incident of the death. So they need to mention date and time of the incident of the death. So guys, do you think the police might have the time of the death always? They might not have. Okay, maybe it was a empty road, or maybe the dead body was found after 1 year of murder. What happened in Bora case? Shinu Bora. Who knows the story?
I'm aware of it.
So when was the dead body found?
I think a year or two later.
Absolutely. Really, really late. All this while, the mother was telling everybody that my daughter is in the United States. So she designed the whole murder mystery with her driver, and they threw the dead body somewhere in the jungle. And all this while, nobody is going to not agree to the mother. But yes, there was a brother who was not convinced with her story. So that's how all this started. So dead body was found after a year. We don't even know what condition was the dead body found. The DNA test must have happened. Okay. Name, father name, place of people who can identify the dead body. So if there is a family there, you're going to, of course, write all those details. If you do not have a family, maybe the witness who saw the dead body for the first time. Name, father name, caste, address, status of the dead. You're going to fill that information. Age, male or female. So we see 24 years male. Situation of clothes or blood or the other things on it. White shirt, white vest, blue, blah, 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 brown underwear covered in blood. So guys, what do you think 0.7 signifies? Yes, Mr. Tandon. Why is it important to get the description? It's a checklist. They're ruling out, was it a theft? Was it a scuffle between the thief and the deceased? You know, maybe it was a dacoity. Maybe it was a thief who got into the scuffle with the deceased, and this person, उसको अपनी जान प्यारी नहीं थी, but उसको अपनी gold chain प्यारी थी, तो उससे लड़ गया और उससे मर गया, है ना? तो कुछ भी हो सकता है. अच्छा. Structure. So if you see the checklist, they're ruling out the reasons. So there was no snatching. Everything was found intact. Structure and type of parts, eyes and face. So जब आपको dead body मिली, so what did you find? Eyes and face. Eyes closed. Structure of face. Injury of violent target present on the dead body, its place, height and width. They write serious injury on the face, forehead and head, and injury on the right hand side and the right leg. So this is the first description which police has seen. Okay. With this particular case, serious injury on the face, forehead, head, and injury on the right hand and the right leg. They've basically turned the body around and they've seen the left side. Did they find any injury on the left side?
No.
So what had happened in this particular case? The guy was made to they stabbed him on this head with a serious heavy weapon. He fell down. He fell down on his left side. Okay, and then they used that murder weapon. They crushed his entire right side. So nothing has happened on the left side. Everything has happened on the right side. So in fact, he was found lying on his left side. So when the police came, obviously they turned him around and they examined, is there any injury on the left side or no? They found no injury. All the injury was on the right side and the front. Flowing blood if there, then from where flowing and how much flowed? Liquid state flowing from head and forehead and leg. So when the police found the dead body, they found that blood was still oozing out from head and forehead and the leg. How the injuries were caused? Bricks, stone and sticks. It's a very, I'm not disclosing the details of the case. Bricks, stones and sticks, how the injuries was caused. Now who can tell this? From where did they get this information? That the injury was caused by bricks, stones, and sticks.
From
I
the
think
crime scene.
of wounds which were there on the body, they must have gauged.
No. Okay, that is one way to know.
They
That
must
is
have
one way
found.
to know.
They must
But
have
see,
found something.
this is so how the injuries were caused. Okay, so bricks, stones, and sticks. This is the statement of a witness, as Bilal rightly said. It's a statement of a witness. But if there was no witness, then they could have mentioned prima facie the injuries had happened because of so and so reason. Maybe it was a car accident. Maybe it could. Is there an injury of neck tied up with a rope or any other thing? They're ruling out suicide, or they're ruling out death by hanging. Whether the rope or anything was used to choke the neck. So there is no injury on the neck, clearly. Was there any outside thing like grass or hair or in the hand of the body or in any other part? Guys, they are so descriptive because they need to give clues to the police what to look and what not. Police might not be very intelligent, the one who's making an inquest report. So that is the reason they have these descriptive performers for them to understand, okay, now they're asking me to look in the body. What is there in the body? So what they found, all they found was sand in the blood.
So just a request, sir.
Yes.
Yes. Shown wonderful format. Last time also you shown. We will request, sir, in case this can be shared. Of
Sir, I
Haryana
shared the last format. Everything I shared with Raghav. If it's not
I
shared,
didn't.
he loses 100 rupees this time.
Thank you.
You'll get everything, sir, as soon as the LCI is able to make them available.
Was it shared? Last time this thing was shared.
I shared the copy of FIR, Raghav. I remember. What else I have shared?
सर मैं एक बार चेक कर लूंगा जो बचा होगा वो आपसे पूछ के फिर then I'll share with everybody.
मैं सब वो
I think
सील करके
last time जो medical examination आपने दिखाया था rape वाले केस में,
वो शेयर कर दिया.
very exhaustive.
I've shared both the postmortem. I've shared both the medical reports. I've shared the copy of the FIR and I've also shared something else which I showed so far.
Just see Raghav अगर दोबारा हो जाए.
Yeah, I'll check with Ankita Anjita. एक बार वो बता देते हैं फिर I'll tell you.
And I've also shared a PPT until last lecture. Okay. So how injuries were caused? Brick, stone, sticks. Is there any injury of neck? हो गया ये. Sand and blood was found. So there was no grass. Whether the body is of a strong, powerful person or a lean, skinny person. It's a strong person. Is a person strong or weak? Strong. Apparent cause of death. Old rivalry. Now guys, tell me, if it's a dead body lying on the road and there is no witness or there's no known witness, will he able to tell you ki what was the cause of death?
No.
Apparent cause of death, no, right? So clearly there was a person who knew what had happened. So that's the reason he has mentioned old rivalry. Whether there was any rumors or situations which showed that the deceased did suicide, no, there were no rumors. Things present on the body, make a list of such things. So they didn't find anything extra which they should have mentioned. Things found near the body, make a list of such things. They did not write anything, or even if they did, we concealed it. Map of death place, which is attached. Okay. So guys, this is what inquest report or the death report looks like. Now, if you're going to go and speak to a Delhi lawyer, Delhi police, they do not give you a performer like this. They will just give a diary entry, give a description. This is a Haryana work. Okay. Again, after this comes your post-mortem report. Obviously, police has given an application to the civil surgeon to do the PMR of this particular dead body, and of course, doctor's name, your registration number, State Medical Council of Haryana, State Medical Council of Haryana, blah blah blah. Deceased age 24. Was he married? Yes, he was married. Gender male, occupation other, present village, PS, so on and so forth. Okay. Now they have a set performer again. Body was brought by the police. Inspector's name, his designation. Person identified the body. Who identified the body? Father identified the body and cousin identified the body. Address, village, relationship, other, so on and so forth. These person, would you understand by identification of the body? I am identifying this person to be Ram Lal and he's my son. All right. So if there is a death, police always calls you to identify the body. Identification done. Then reason. Post-mortem examination report. Information supplied by the police and hospital record. As per the information provided by the police, it was a Purani Ranjish. General description. Description of clothes, jewelry and other items worn by the body. Important areas be encircled on the clothing wherever possible and handed over to the police. So if he had any jewelry, so on and so forth, it was removed and handed over to the police. White striped shirt, white banyan, brown underwear and blue colored lower, all are having multiple blood stain at places. Length 72 inches. Physique, average build. What length of what?
His height?
Yes, length of the deceased. From top to bottom, he's 72 inches tall. Average build. Rigor mortis present in all 4 limbs. Somebody needs to quickly Google and tell us what rigor mortis is. I forgot, it's a Latin phrase.
Stiffening of the body, sir, after a certain period of time when the person dies.
Okay.
Limbs.
Right. Thank you, sir. So what he's saying is it's present in all 4 limbs. Thank you, Mr. Tandon. Present on the dependent, post-mortem staining, present on the dependent parts of the dead body. So the cyanosis will start happening, the coloration will start changing, so on and so forth, which the doctor says now it's present on the dependent parts of the dead body, which is the limbs. Any other? Nil. External general appearance. So what they're saying is this is the stage when the dead body has been brought to the hospital. It's the initial examination. They haven't done any autopsy yet. Okay. Are these things important for your for you as a defense lawyer?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Because these things are going to tell you, if you're going to read any forensics book, they're going to, it has a lot of detailing in the time lapse between the dead body was brought from the site of occurrence to the hospital, because hospital is going to write what they see. So there are stages of things that when cyanosis appears, how much body shrinks, it expands. There are stages. And everything is used in defense, depending on the complexity of the case. Okay, that is the reason why they write everything. Ligature mark, status of eyes, pupil fixed and dilated. They say the status of eyes is fixed and dilated, pupil fixed and dilated, cornea, conjunctiva dry, cornea, conjunctiva dry. So the eyes are dry, pupil is fixed, it's not moving in any direction, it's dilated, means it's gone broad. When dilation happens, the pupil becomes broad. Natural orifice, please note presence of blood, froth, etc. in mouth, nose, ear, specify anus, vagina and urethra. Orifices means any opening in the body. Again, NAD. What was the full form of NAD? We discussed it last time.
Nothing detected.
Something on those
No
lines.
abnormality detected.
Sorry?
No abnormality detected.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Now, this is the most interesting part. That was the prima facie evaluation of the disease before the autopsy started. Still, the autopsy has not been started. they are examining the external wounds, examination of external injuries. Very important, guys. One lacerated wound at center of forehead of size 1 centimeter into 1 centimeter. I want everyone to point towards their forehead and tell me where the forehead is. Yes. So if you look at it, lacerated wound. Is everyone clear with the laceration and incision? What is the difference between laceration and incision? Please Google and tell me what is the difference between laceration and incision.
सर इंसिजन जो होता है वो कट वुंड होता है, लैसरेट थोड़ा स्प्लैटर वाला कि फट गया.
जी, जब स्किन फटती है तो उसको लैसरेटेड वुंड कहते हैं. जब आप ब्लेड से काटते हैं, चाकू से काटते हैं तो उसको इंसिजन, इंसाइज्ड वुंड कहते हैं. ठीक है? It is automatically going to tell you what kind of weapon is used. And incised wound is very, very important. You can go wrong with a lacerated wound. You can't go wrong with an incised wound. Because the size of the incised wound has to match the size of the weapon used. If
Sorry, I
the
couldn't
knife,
get it, sir.
I'm sorry.
Last word I could not.
The size
hear
of the incised wound has to match the size of the weapon used.
Okay.
If there is a chakku, one of the cases, I don't know if I've discussed with you guys or not, one of the cases, the weapon used as claimed was a knife which the tip started being 0.5 centimeter and it went on getting broader and broader. Regular knife. In the front, the knife is its dimensions are very smaller, right? It has a tip and then it gets broader and broader and broader, correct? That's the weapon which was claimed to be used. But the death had occurred with a suwa, with something like a screwdriver. You know, the suwa is basically you use to crush ice. All right. So the real weapon used was a suwa, but what police said and what police recovered was a regular knife. Now, if you read the post-mortem report, all the injuries on the vital organs were 0.5 centimeter broad, inside deep, 3 centimeter, 4 centimeter, 2 centimeter. Okay. Injury in the stomach, injury in the heart region, injury in the lung region. उसने सुए को लेके धा उसकी पूरी बॉडी में गाड़ दिया. And he died because all the vital organs were punctured, obviously. But what weapon did the police show? They showed a regular chakku recovered from some railway station. The tip is 0.5 centimeter and it becomes 1 centimeter and then 1.5 centimeter and 2 centimeter and 3 centimeter. That's how the description of the weapon was. Do you think this weapon matches the wounds? Why don't you think, Mr. Tandon?
It will be the knife would have broadened. Knife is actually from the tip, it broadens towards it. Whereas in this, it will be a constant size of the suas.
Absolutely. So every injury was 0.5 centimeter broad. If you had actually used a chakku, then the incised wound should be at least, let's say, 1 inch on the skin and 2 inches inside. Or maybe 2.5 inch on the skin and 5 inches inside. Correct? But here, everything was 0.5 centimeter. That's not possible. It's only possible with a screwdriver or a suwa. So it was a clear-cut discrepancy between the post-mortem report and the investigating agency's version. This casts serious doubts on the recovery of a weapon or on the prosecution's case. है ना? The police doesn't think so much, but we need to think. Okay. Now, if you look at lacerated wound over the frontal region of the scalp of size 6 centimeter into 1 centimeter. Everybody, please point out and tell me where is the frontal region of your scalp.
This side.
Yes. So the next injury happened is उसने उसके सिर पे मारा. 6 centimeter into 1 centimeter. What is it telling you? The width of the wound again is 1 centimeter. And length is 6 centimeter. It's like this. Okay. Let's move ahead. A lacerated wound over right parietal region of scalp of size 7 centimeter into 1 centimeter. Where is the right parietal region of the scalp? Correct. Here. So the next stab he got was here. And look at the length, 7 centimeter into 1 centimeter. Then a lacerated wound over the right occipital region of the scalp. Occipital is little behind. I'm so sorry. Occipital region is little behind. This is frontal and this is occipital. This is occipital bone on the back side. Okay. Parietal is on the sides. Frontal, occipital, parietal. ठीक है? Then 7 centimeter one lacerated wound over the right occipital region of the scalp of size 5 centimeter and 2 centimeter. So there was a nearby, there is another injury of size 5 centimeter into 2 centimeter. Compound fracture.
So one thing here, when it is written 7 centimeter by 1 centimeter, 5 centimeter by 2 centimeter, so where it is written 7 centimeter and 5 centimeter, this is the depth of the wound?
No. It is the length of the wound. What is appearing on the surface? So if there is a cut in my hand, okay, if somebody takes a knife and cuts my hand like this, what it is going to look like? It is going to look like 4 millimeter or 5 millimeter in the width. The length of the wound is maybe 5 centimeter.
Okay.
So the breadth of the injury is 1 centimeter here, but the length of the injury is 7 centimeter. That's what he's saying.
But then that possibly may not have been with the screwdriver or sewer. That
No,
could have
this
been
is
with
a
something
different.
else.
This is a different post-mortem report.
Okay.
This is with the. This is what has happened with the cement brick.
Okay.
What was the initial version of the police? The initial version of the police was pebbles, sticks, and bricks.
Brick.
है ना? That was the initial version of the death inquest report. Who told the police about the pebbles, sticks, and the bricks?
Witness.
The eyewitness. Funny enough, okay, now that version is called the ocular version of the eyewitness. Same thing has been written in the FIR by the eyewitness in all 161s that we saw accused persons killing the deceased by bricks, stones, and sticks. Honestly speaking, the eyewitnesses were not the real eyewitnesses. The death happened at 11 p.m. in the night. Eyewitness happened to be the family members who were informed by somebody else. They came rushing to the site and they found their son deceased. Police was called thereafter. Okay, अभी अंधेरे में किसी को कुछ नहीं पता क्या हुआ. They saw their son bleeding, crushed. 1 second, guys. So eventually what happened? Police wrote in the death report because the inquest report was made in the middle of the night. All right. they mentioned the weapon as whatever was told by the fake eyewitnesses. They took it in the report. Now the post-mortem report describes the injury, real injury. And there'll be a twist of the events in the morning, because what was found on the site of occurrence later on was a broken piece of a cement bench. I even have the photograph of that broken piece of the cement bench I can share with you. So basically, this murder happened with the broken piece of a cement bench. You see those park benches with the cement slabs? Can you imagine them? Okay. So there was a broken bench. The accused got hold of one of the broken limbs of that bench. He got hold of the sariyas in it, and he smashed him left, right, and center. This was the real cause of death. But how did the chain of events unfold? The first version in the FIR was, we saw the 6 accused hitting the deceased with bricks, stones, and dande. So if the eyewitnesses were really there, they would have told, we saw the accused hitting the deceased with a cement slab. Do you agree?
Yes.
That's how you unfold the sequence of events in your case. Your Honor, the FIR version says this. Inquest report was clearly made based on what the eyewitnesses have mentioned. Inquest report also says this. But by the time the post-mortem happened, the wounds are like this. And this wound, maybe you'll have to call an expert witness to examine this post-mortem report and question him. Can these wounds happen with the bricks and pebbles? If you stand at a distance, if you stand at 5 feet or 6 feet away from somebody, can you actually give these kind of injuries with pebbles and stones? Probably not. And in the entire post-mortem report, there is not even a single injury which matches an injury of a danda. Police beats you with danda, what happens?
Sir, one question.
I'm saying there is a danda, stick. Okay. So the version what police wanted to create initially was that 6 people came. This poor man was in the middle of those 6 people. They started hitting him from their sticks in the hand. That's what their version was. And then there were bricks and stones which they were throwing on him. This was a very filmy version which they had narrated, because they didn't see anything happening. This is the first thing they might think in their head. But by the time the dead body was taken to the hospital, the post-mortem report happened. This is called the medical version of the injuries. The medical version does not match what the eyewitnesses say. Eyewitness say, I saw him shooting him on a forehead or whatever happened. I saw him killing him with a sword. But the wound does not match sword. It matches only a churi. So whom are you going to believe? Will you believe that eyewitness? Yes or no? Is everybody understanding, or I'm just talking to myself?
No, sir.
The wound is not going to match.
Definitely.
One thing, sir, I got a doubt here, sir. Now, whatever you are saying, now we can understand. But the point is, if we are not experienced and trying it, then I think we'll have to depend on the expert witness, whether who can say, this is actually not the wound caused by bricks, it is for
You are going to call an expert witness as a defense witness.
हमारे लगने से नहीं होता.
हमारे लगने से नहीं होता ना, बट आपको लगना भी तो चाहिए एक्सपर्ट विटनेस को बुलाने के लिए. ये आपका आर्गुमेंट का पार्ट बनेगा ना. उसके बाद कुछ और इंटरेस्टिंग हो जाएगा. उसके बाद क्या इंटरेस्टिंग हो जाएगा, अभी सारे हम ये देखते हैं. फ्रैक्चर राइट ऑफ पैराइटल बोन ऑफ स्कल, fracture right of occipital bone of skull. Now what he says is there's a compound fracture of the frontal bone of the skull, means the entire frontal bone has been crushed. Compound fracture means there are multiple fractures in one region. Simple fracture means there is a simple line. There is a slit in the bone. That is a simple fracture. But compound fracture means आपने एक हथौड़ा लेके ईंट को मारा और उस पे बहुत सारे cracks पड़ गए. That is a compound fracture. Okay, so they've identified there is a compound fracture of the frontal bone of the skull. Fracture right parietal bone of the skull. So if they're only writing fracture, it means it's a simple fracture. Fracture on the right occipital bone of the skull. Multiple abrasion of various size present over the right arm of the hand. Abrasions क्या होता है?
Shoot.
हाँ, skin फट रही है.
Scratches.
Exactly. Multiple abrasion of various sizes present over the right hip and the right leg. So this is one area which was hit. Multiple abrasions of various sizes present over right hip and right leg. So the next area which they hit was the right leg and right hip and right leg. A lacerated wound of size 5 centimeter into 1 centimeter over right leg. Can you imagine the guy lying on his left side? The left side is touching the floor, and the accused person is hitting from the top to bottom on the right side. That is what is happening in this case. You need to imagine it. Because all the injuries are only on the right side. There's nothing on the left side. तो गिर चुका है लेफ्ट साइड पे, उसको जमीन बचा रही है, जो उसको मार पड़ रही है सब राइट साइड से पड़ रही है. How are you going to create a doubt? If he was standing and 6 people was beating him, not possible. A lacerated wound of size 5 centimeter into 1 centimeter. Multiple abrasion of various sizes present all over the back. तो बैक पे भी मार पड़ी है. बोलिए.
1 point. जैसे अभी ये 5 सेंटीमीटर बाई 1 सेंटीमीटर, ऐसे आपने 7 by 1 और ऐसे कुछ दिखाया था 5 by 2. Now you said कि आपको लगना भी चाहिए एक्सपर्ट को बुलाने के लिए. तो अभी मेरे को I am not very clear कि I would think कि yes brick से लगा होगा. मेरे को लगेगा ही नहीं सीमेंटेड स्लैब से, तभी तो मैं बुलाऊंगा. तो थोड़ा सा ये if you could clarify on that. मेरे को लगेगा कि हो सकता है
अभी आपको नेक्स्ट पॉइंट पे वो क्लैरिफिकेशन हो जाएगी. बिकॉज when in the morning police goes to the site of occurrence, all they find is only a cement brick with the blood.
तो ब्रेक तो हो गया.
Three chain of events हो गए सर. Middle of the night, when you took the statement from the eyewitness, he said bricks, stones, pebbles, and dande. And accused person left the site. Accused person never returned there. Okay, understood. Body is sent for post-mortem report. Death report was written in the middle of the night when the inquest happened. What police found at the site of occurrence was a cement slab. So there is a clear-cut contradiction between what the eyewitness had stated and what we found on the site of occurrence. Police is going to collect that cement slab only. They're not going to go and buy sticks, buy eat and buy patthar and plant it on the site. You understand? So the evidence collected was only a cement slab, which matches the version of your post-mortem report. So what discrepancy we have is, we have a discrepancy in the ocular version, what the eyewitnesses were saying and what actually has happened. So you are casting doubt in the court's mind that, look, Your Honor, they are not real eyewitnesses because the reason of death is something else. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
That is where you punctured the case of prosecution.
Exactly. You need to find loopholes in the investigation and the witnesses, because or witnesses we kaun hai? The death happened in front of in the village, and the one witness lives half a kilometer away, the other witness lives 1 kilometer away, and the third witness lives 200 meters away, and all of them happen to be the brothers and sister of the deceased.
So they might have seen.
I'm sorry.
They might have seen the accused doing or they might not have seen it.
They did not. They had a second-hand information.
It was an afterthought.
It was not an afterthought. It was a second-hand information.
Okay.
So understand the chain of events. The murder is happening at 11 p.m. Somebody happens to see the murder. All right. The accused person killed this guy and left. The witness knows the accused person. The witness knows the family of the deceased. It's a little village. That person goes running to the house and tells the father, look, your son is lying there near this place. Father comes rushing to the scene of the crime. He finds his son lying. He calls his nephew, he calls his brother to come to the site of occurrence. Now what he's seeing, all he's seeing is son lying unconscious or dead on the floor in a road of a village. Hai na? The second-hand information, automatically he knows that who are my enemies, who must have done it. It's not that anybody would come and crush my son like this. So he knows who must have done it. But you're already in state of shock. You will only try to make sense how this person must have killed my son, because it's not a gunshot wound. So all you think is कि 6 लोग आए, वो इसको पत्थरों से, ईंटों से, डंडों से मार के चले गए. That's what a normal man will think. But if you had actually seen this murder happening, you will not make that mistake. You will say, look, he pulled up that cement slab from the bench and he bashed my son with this. Now you didn't even know who had killed your son, because it's a second-hand version you are being told, or it's an imaginative version that I have this family rivalry with A, B, C, D, E, F. They must have killed my son, but you really don't know who among those 6 killed your son. So you're going to name all of them. But there are no 6 slabs used. It's just one slab which is being used. So in order for 6 people to kill you, you need to be very descriptive now. I can't say that Aditya also killed my son, Nitin also killed my son, Bhaskaran also did, Rajesh also did, Raghav also did, Shikhar also did. I can only specifically say is that Nitin did this. Aditya hit my son on this side. Maybe Aditya was just standing 2 meters away. In my FIR, I'm not describing the events. All I'm saying is I saw 6 of them. They were throwing stones, pebbles, and hitting my son with a stick. When I reached there, they ran away. This is my version of the FIR. That means clearly you haven't seen anything. You're trying to make up a story. The first puncture comes into the prosecution during the inquest report. Second puncture event unfolds is during the postmortem. The third event which is going to unfold is when the police goes there in the morning and tries to collect the evidence. There is not even a single pebble, not even a single stick, not even a single brick at the site of occurrence. But they find a slab with blood stains. Of course, they're going to take into the possession. And at this moment, police is not thinking so much that who is going to be the witness or not. Maybe they think that they're going to get 10 real eyewitnesses, which probably backed out eventually. But police is not thinking so much. They're only going, the sequence of events are going to happen the way they need to happen. Have I answered your question, sir? Or was it a discussion, whatever? I mean, does it make sense what I'm saying?
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yes.
Sir, after police went in the morning, can't they change the inquest report?
No. They will have no reason to do it because they're still figuring out what has happened. Police is doing their investigation. They are not an interested party in implicating somebody, just based on the version of the father.
But if they want, they can do it.
They can. But inquest report also needs to be sent to the executive magistrate soon after. That is the reason it is mentioned that the executive magistrate needs to be informed in the middle of the night. So that nothing is tainted, you know, like FIR, you register the FIR, you send it to the magistrate. Nothing is tainted. This is the reason why legislation has made these protocols, so that you don't play it around. Post-mortem report, of course, they know that doctors are not going to taint it. Right?
Okay.
Okay. So now we move ahead.
No, what? Excuse me, sir. I've got one
Yes.
question. he had asked a very valid doubt, Mr. Bhaskaran. Now, though you said it has to be immediately informed the executive magistrate, but fine, he is supervising that inquest, but sending it will take some time. In that meantime, like he said, in the morning they have found it, and they might change it, send it. Oh, you are right. They are not a party to it, but then they might find this version convincing that this might have caused the injury, that cemented slab. They might put that instead of brick stones.
They can do it, but the initial version of the FIR was recorded now. That moment, they are not thinking so much, and police doesn't have so much of brains. Trust me. If they had,
got it. Sir. My point is, sorry, you want to come?
They can if they want. They really can if they want. A lot of high-profile murder cases, these things happen. You know, if money's exchange hands, a lot of things happen. But there has to be, yes.
How did they going to connect the accused with the murder? Even if they even if they change the inquest report or something, because the murder weapon, which the inquest reports in that murder weapon is bricks and sticks, not the cement slab. How they gonna connect with the accused? Accused can easily go free.
So that's the reason in this case accused will go free.
Yes.
Because there are multiple versions. So there are judgments over the fact that so if you start reading judgments on the murder cases, the main three discrepancies are ocular version of the witness, weapon used, and post-mortem report. This is the way you move ahead in the defense of the murder case. Every case has its strategic defense. So now you basically need to cast doubt between the weapon used and the injury happened and the version of the eyewitness. That's how you approach a murder case to begin with. And that is exactly what I'm trying to teach you here. Okay. So going further.
So I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Tell me.
One more thing. When you showed us the FIR, you told us about a case in criminal justice where that boy murders the
sister.
Rape, then again the murder happens, and he was convicted. He was not sentenced for rape because it was a consensual sex at that point of time. But he was charged with murder. Right? But at the time of the murder, he was intoxicated. Right? But the judge, in criminal justice, they showed that he has committed the murder. But the murder in intoxication will have a different this thing than the murder if he's fully aware about the things, isn't it? But the punishment will be different in the murder case when he's intoxicated.
Not really. There's no defense of intoxication.
I have read in CrPC only.
There is no defense of a crime and intoxication.
Sir, may I add?
Please, Mittals. Let's see your face before you talk.
Sir, I'm very camera shy. Please excuse
Why are
me.
you? That's the reason I bully you more. Good. All right.
Yeah, I remember that. If you are drunk by yourself, then you do not have the defense. But if somebody else, like your friends and all that, had made you drink, then you have a defense.
All right.
Yeah,
makes sense.
I have read in the CrPC only that if you are intoxicated, then the murder charge will be.
Yeah, I'm talking about intoxication also, only. If you got drunk by yourself, then you do not have any excuse. Then you will be punished like any ordinary person. But if somebody else caused you to drink socially or otherwise, and
in this case, what is shown in the criminal justice that episode was he was not intoxicated by himself. What he claimed was he was given a pill by the girl only. Because
Then he had a good defense.
But he got convicted of the murder.
It was a he said, she said situation, na sir?
This is he said, she said. Who will give evidence that this girl only intoxicated him?
Maybe you intoxicated the girl, and maybe there was no blood sample taken from you that you were actually.
But there was evidence that she was a drug user.
Correct.
He was not a drug user. She was a habitual drug user.
Correct.
And so this actually negates that theory of he said or she said, because he was not a drug user at all. His character
it could have very well happened that he could have murdered and then consumed drugs or something to take this excuse. He must be knowing, being in criminal practice, that these kind of excuses are available to them.
Like that, it was not shown like that. He was not as a character. He was not a habitual person who does these kind of things.
I cannot say much on that.
I understand what Mr. Mehra is trying to say. It's difficult proposition to prove at that moment, no sir, because it was only two people. The person who actually killed was very smart. The person who actually killed was very smart. The fingerprints of this man, he was the first person to get caught. You're having sex with the lady, you were intoxicated. There is no third person who have barged into the house and killed and gone. It only unfolds later.
But this is also what he is saying. What he's saying and what happened. But nobody saw it. There was no eyewitness to it. Right. So the statement of the accused also will matter, I suppose.
Not that much. When there are too many circumstantial evidences against you, your statement has no value, because any which way you're going to say, but you're not able to explain how the murder happened while you were present there.
Okay, let's say the punishment. In that case, the punishment will be of the severe murder or a heinous crime, or punishment will be of the judge might think that
the minimum punishment what the particular IPC prescribes, that's what you're going to get.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it's murder or it's culpable homicide, or what triggered the murder, did you try to run away? A lot of other things will decide how it is going. I am unfolding the entire web series, but it was a difficult proposition for him to explain. I mean, you're thinking like a very good defense lawyer. I totally get it, but those points should have been brought at the right time.
Yeah, that is his lawyer did not brought those points actually, but if she could have done that.
But still the weight of these points would be it's a he said, she said situation. There is a probability of it, but the circumstantial evidence going to weigh very strong against you. There are fingerprints of you all over, the murder weapon found in the same place, you are found in the same place intoxicated, the girl is dead. A lot of things happened. Then you ran away from there. Somebody saw you running away from there. Police caught you. You were trying to, blah, 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 blah. So a lot of circumstantial evidence against you, no? So yeah, that's what it is. Maybe we're digressing too much. Thanks for the insightful discussion. Let's very quickly, I know this is a little bit boring, but let's just finish this. Components, remarks, cranium and cranulum and spinal cord. Brain must be exposed in every case. Spinal cord need not be examined in case of injury to vertebral column spinal cord. Scalp as described, skull as described, meninges and vessels as described, brain as described, vertebrae, spinal cord as described, mouth, pharynx and esophagus is pale, neck is pale, condition of neck. Why they need to tell you the color? Because this coloration happens at a certain point of time when the body is brought. If there is a delay of 12 hours, 24 hours, whatever it is, there'll be a different description. So it's going to tell you for the time of death. That's what the significance is. Hyaled bone intact, Larynx and tracheas, pale. Thorax is the chest region. Chest wall, rib, sternum, as described. There is no rib cage injury, if we remember. Pleura and pleural cavities, pale. Lung right, pale. Lung left, pale. Pericardium, pale. Heart mostly empty. There is no blood left in the heart. Coronary arteries and large blood vessels, pale. Abdomen, peritoneum and retroperitoneum, no abnormality detected. Stomach incontents, pale, contains some food, maybe. Okay, now is the most important part, guys. Opinion, cause of death. In opinion of the board, the cause of death in this case is shock and hemorrhage due to injuries to vital organs. That is brain, which is described in postmortem report, and antemortem in nature, and are sufficient to cause death in ordinary course of nature. So this is the finding of the board. Shock. Death is always caused by vital shock into a vital organs. Can somebody name few vital organs? Yes, Aditya.
Brain.
Heart.
Yes.
Lungs.
Yes.
And spinal cord, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe, I'm not sure. And
brain.
Intestine.
Yeah,
brain basically the entire structure, brain and spinal cord is part of the entire nervous system. Okay. So if partly the spinal cord is injured, you can still be alive. But if your brain gets damaged, then your whole body is going to stop functioning. Because
Yes.
it's the motor neurons which basically. So any organ which is vital for your physiology is a vital organ. If lungs are damaged, you stop breathing, you collapse. Okay. If heart is damaged, blood stops pumping into your body, you become dead. Kidney could lead to death if there is injury in the kidney and the water circulation doesn't happen. All subsequent, not very quickly. Brain hemorrhage or crushing of the brain, you're dead on the spot. So injury to the vital organ means death. Now, if I come and cut your limbs, I cut your legs, I cut your ears, are you going to die?
Maybe eventually, but not immediate.
If I cut all these things and I put a good band-aid and stop your bleeding, you're not going to die.
Yeah, correct.
Because no vital organ has been injured. All right. Even if I remove your eyes, you're not going to die. I cut your nose, you're not going to die. I cut your tongue, you're not going to die. These are not vital organs. These are simply sensory organs. Limbs are not vital organs. Your bones are not vital organs. If I fracture your bone, you're not going to die. Okay. So injury, generally, the death happens due to functioning, the shock or hemorrhage in a particular vital organ. In this case, it's the brain. Why do we agree to it? Because he basically hammered his brain left, right, and center. That was the cause of death. Antemortem, postmortem, probable time between injury, between death and postmortem within a few minutes.
So one query here, sir.
Yes, let me just finish this, sir. I'll take questions. Then what happened? PMR handed over to police, dead body after postmortem examined, duly stitched. Once after opening the body, they stitch it back. With it belongings to the deceased sealed, postmortem examination report, police inquest report numbering 1 to 4, X-ray plates bearing number, identify number of plates, MLX, quantity of plates 3, blah, blah, blah. This is your postmortem report in detail. So as a defense lawyer, you're going to study your inquest report, your postmortem report in detail to find discrepancies. We are going to move to 161 statements of the deceased. You'll again try to make 2 + 2 4. Yes, Mr. Tandon. You need to unmute yourself.
Could you go back to the page where we were showing the vital organs and antemortem in nature? It was written there. I just want to ask that query here.
Right.
Just before this.
This one?
Yes. Well, it says, in opinion of the board, the cause of death in this case is shock and hemorrhage due to injuries to vital organs, that is brain, which are as described in the PMR report and are anti-mortem in nature. When you talk of anti-mortem, this is basically before death.
Correct.
So, naturally, this death has occurred before that only. Why is writing anti-mortem? Could there be
So
something?
injuries happened before death and then the shock happened.
Achha. If you can signify, I mean, explain.
So basically, anti-mortem and post-mortem, they talk about it. Certain injuries happened before death and certain injuries could happen after death.
That's what I want to. What could be the injury which happened after
So,
that?
you know, he might have died and you're still hammering him.
Achha.
So he started hammering him on the brain. ठीक है, उसने सबसे पहले यहाँ पे मारा, फिर यहाँ पे मारा, फिर यहाँ पे मारा, वो नीचे गिर गया. अब हो सकता है ये इंजरी की वजह से उसको ब्रेन हिमरेज हो गया, शॉक हो गया, वो मर गया. आपको नहीं पता कि वो मरा पड़ा है नहीं पड़ा, बट आप इतने ज्यादा जुनून में हो. इफ यू रीड दिस entire post-mortem report, you know that this man who has killed him has been a madman. वो किसी जुनून में मार रहा है उसको, है ना? कोई इतनी इट्स अ दिल दहलाने वाली मौत जिसने देखी होगी. करेक्ट. तो उसको मारे जा रहा है. हो सकता है उसका दम निकल चुका हो. So things could have, there could be injuries which are anti-mortem and there could be injuries which are post-mortem. So that's how I try to identify them.
Now the thing is, how does it affect the case, anti-mortem and post-mortem? As a defense lawyer,
there could be discrepancies. It could get a little complicated, but if I'll find a case like this, I would want to discuss. आप भी अपनी तरफ से research कर लीजिए. Then maybe we can discuss.
Because my point was, when they write this such a thing in,
it's technically a medical. They just write the course of action, what in their opinion could have happened. So death had happened at that stage. हाँ, इसका जो significance मैं समझ पा रहा हूँ, वो ये होता है कि you are one of those 6 people, okay, and all you're doing is with your hammer you are smashing him on the hips or the leg area, correct? And the witness says ki look, Aditya had smashed him in the head at 11:45. Then I saw, and he was falling on the ground. Then Rajesh came and he started smashing him on the kamar or hips or legs, whatever it is. This post-mortem report is going to help you. Look, I didn't kill him. It's Aditya who killed him. Because my injuries are post-mortem. His injuries are ante-mortem. And the cause of death is shock and brain hemorrhage. Understood? This is the reason they give the description. Because there could be multiple people involved. And there is a judgment I'm going to share you. Most of the bails happen because there is no particular role assigned to an accused. आप बोल रहे हैं कि 6 लोग खड़े हैं और 6 लोग एक की तरह मार रहे हैं. There is no particular role assigned to any accused. That means your witnesses are tainted. You haven't seen what is happening. If you are a real eyewitness, you would know what is happening and you're going to give a complete description of what has happened. You're not going to give a general story. समझ रहे हैं?
Sir, on this anti-mortem injury, sir, I had seen one documentary. I can't recall. I had seen some time back. So what had happened in that case, sir? There was a snatcher who was chasing a person, and he was running away from him. So that person fell from a building, and he fell down, and the snatcher chased him to the where he fell, and he tried to snatch he snatched his chain, he snatched something, and he gave him a knife wound also at that time. What happened? That person died, and he was charged for murder. But I saw in that documentary only, the cause of the death was because he fell from the building, not because of the knife wound. So that is why he was not found guilty of murder. Some other sections maybe, but not found guilty for murder.
Because the knife must have not injured him in a vital organ.
Yeah, probably.
No?
And
I
the
could
cause
give
of
you a
death was
stab wound in the stomach that might not kill you.
yeah.
Cause of death happened because he fell down from 4th floor. Whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the reason they go in detail in post-mortem reports. I haven't worked too many on the murder trials, but eventually when we get, then we'll get more and more exposure to such trials. In India, you know how the forensics work and how much they get into detail. But yeah, we better.
So, any idea how do they come to conclusion whether it is an ante-mortem or post-mortem?
Sir, you have to study MBBS and then become a autopsy surgeon. It's a 3 years MS surgery to become an autopsy surgeon. So yes, Mr. Kailashi, you are raising your hand.
Sir, you were mentioning that slab, no sir. Repeatedly he smashed on a head. Slab normally the size is by 1 foot by 2 foot. How he was able to pull out that and hit that person?
It was already a broken bench. So I've seen that bench. It's a broken, damaged. You know, there are a lot of parts around that bench. I will share the photo in the group so that you guys can make sense out of it, that what he pulled and how he killed him. You know what sariyas are? The iron rods inside.
Yeah.
So the iron rods were protruding and part of the slab had a cement. So he got hold of that iron rod and he like a baseball bat or something. It's a heavy thing.
Yes, that's
probably very heavy. Probably that 1 centimeter wounds are because of that iron rod only.
Could be possibly. Maybe it's a sharp edge. I have not seen the real area of that bench which has killed the guy, but you can make out what must have happened by looking at the side of the bench.
Thank you, sir. Because the 7 centimeter by 1 centimeter and 5 centimeter and 1 centimeter, that way that measurement only got confused. So normally it is so. What you said, the rod with broken, that is worn out slab, it might be. So you took
Could be, sir, or it could be the sariya, the iron skull of the slab could be exposed.
Yes.
You know, so that may be the reason for the laceration. I'm not sure what it was. That could be the reason for the laceration also. 1 centimeter.
Yes.
And it had a lot of weight because of the rest of the cement.
Thank you, sir.
No worries, sir. No worries. So, guys, this was the inquest report and the post-mortem report. I'm quickly also going to show you how a DNA report looks like. 1 second. Okay. Hello, Mr. Sarabjit Singh. Long time no see. This is forensic laboratory, blah, blah, blah. And this is sent to Assistant Commissioner of Police, Mudesar Faridabad. Okay. So there are 4 samples being sent. Can somebody read the samples? Mr. Sarabjit, you're there?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, can you read sample 1, 2, 3, 4 quickly?
So, sample number 1 sealed plastic jar container labeled as unmarried female. सर मैं फोन पे एक्चुअली मैं ढंग से पढ़ नहीं पाऊंगा.
अच्छा ठीक है. ये टंडन जी आप पढ़ दीजिए, आप पढ़ पा रहे हैं तो.
So 1 sealed plastic jar container labeled as, I think, daughter of unmarried. Okay, what is
Correct. So
unmarried?
this is the from the prosecutrix.
Is it daughter of unmarried female?
See, they're describing कि एक sealed plastic jar लिया है container, उसको हमने ऐसे label किया है, is daughter of this
What is this?
unmarried female, इतनी
D
उम्र है
oblique
उसकी.
O. What is this D oblique O?
Daughter of.
Daughter of unmarried female. I couldn't make out.
कॉमा नाम है, डॉटर है, पिताजी का नाम है, कॉमा करके अनमैरिड फीमेल है.
अच्छा, that name has been obscured here.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, yes, MLR, whatever blah number, male fetus expelled as 14/5/2021 containing.
हाँ, तो इन्होंने basically ये sample भेजा पुलिस ने. So there was a fetus which was recovered from the prosecutrix. Okay.
Okay.
Then the second sample, एक और blood.
Just a second. Fetus was recovered. So ये क्या मतलब this is what
from a POXO case. This is from a POXO case. Let me give you the hint of the samples. One was the fetus. One was the blood sample of the mother. One was the blood sample of the accused person. And so there are 4 samples. Okay. Now, if you see, DNA was extracted from item number 1, 2, 3, 4. So there was DNA extracted from the fetus, extracted from the prosecutrix, extracted from the accused. Subjected to autosomal STR analysis by using P identifier plus get DNA profile obtained from item number 1 is compared with DNA profile obtained from item number 2, 3, 4. The pattern of item number 1 matches with the elect pattern of item number 2 and does not match the elect pattern of number 3 and 4. 3 क्या है? Blood sample stated to be of accused. Blood sample stated to be of accused number. 3 and 4 accused के हैं. 1 prosecutrix का है. 1 बच्चे का है. 2 prosecutrix का है. तो वो बोल रहा है कि 1 और 2 तो मैच कर रहा है DNA, बट 3 और 4 से नहीं मैच कर रहा. तो what rules out here is कि बच्चा accused का नहीं है. ठीक है. अब आगे बढ़िए. Conclusion. The autosomal STR analysis indicates that DNA profile obtained from the item number 1, which is fetus, is matching with the DNA profile of item number 2, blood sample taken from the prosecutrix, and is not matching with the DNA profile of item number 3 and 4. So what we are saying is कि हमारा जो DNA sample है, in this particular case, what had happened is prosecutrix had an affair with a boyfriend. Okay, she got impregnated by the boyfriend. It's a statement. Thereafter, the accused came into her life and she started living the accused. Thereafter, when mother found that she is living with the accused, the POXO case was filed. However, during a medical examination, she was found to be pregnant, 4 months pregnant. अब ऑटोमेटिकली पुलिस क्या सोचेगी? पुलिस ये सोचेगी कि ये हमारे एक्यूज्ड का बच्चा है. जब उसने बताया, जब उसको पता चला प्रेग्नेंट है, तो उसने स्टेटमेंट दी कि मेरा ऐसे ऐसे एक बॉयफ्रेंड था जिसके साथ मैं, जिसने मेरे साथ जबरदस्ती की थी, कंसेंशुअल सेक्स था, व्हाटएवर इट वाज, एंड आई गॉट इम्प्रेग्नेटेड. सो एट दिस स्टेज द they went for a miscarriage. ठीक है. फीटस जब बाहर निकला तो उसका सैंपल लेके एक्यूज के डीएनए से मैच किया गया. अब ये एक्यूज के डीएनए से अगर मैच कर जाता तो मुझे बताओ क्या होता है एक्यूज का.
Actually, it would have been, case would have been a strong prosecution.
नहीं, 20 साल के लिए अंदर जाता. ठीक है, because he impregnated a minor, वो 20 साल के लिए अंदर जाता. This is what exactly has happened.
One question. Now they went for miscarriage, but what is that medical
feticide.
medical termination? MTP, is it legal miscarriage?
It was a 4 months child and it was an accidental pregnancy. She was not even aware that she was pregnant.
No, but the point is, pardon me because अच्छे से याद नहीं आ रहा, but I think it is not legalized to get the miscarriage done. Or
नहीं 20 weeks से पहले आप आराम से कर सकते हो without the permission of the court.
The term is abortion.
Abortion, yes, I'm so sorry. Abortion. 20 हफ्ते से पहले आप without the permission from the court आप आराम से abortion दे सकते हो.
नहीं उसमें है सर, नहीं कोई ऐसा नहीं है कि कुछ.
नहीं सर, 20 हफ्ते से पहले आप बहुत आराम से abortion करा सकते हो अपनी खुद की discretion पे.
But was it an abortion or miscarriage?
It was an abortion. It was not a miscarriage. Miscarriage happens by accident. Abortion happens when it's a medically terminated pregnancy. So the correct word is not.
ये भी तो आता है ना सर. No. Sometimes isn't it there in a medical termination of pregnancy that it is an offense? कुछ है.
Sir, that's what I'm saying. Before 20 weeks, you can go for medical termination of pregnancy. It's not a crime. After 20 weeks, you have to take permission from the court. And case-to-case basis, they allow. That's what the whole scenario is. Yes, Mittals.
So gender identified abortion is a crime, but if there is no gender identification, then I think it's not a crime.
But there is again a slab of 20 weeks.
Yeah, but if you identify the gender that it's a female child and then you are going in for abortion, then it's like.
Of course. But nobody identifies these days. Doctors are very scared. I'm sure things must be happening, but yeah, doctors are very scared. They don't. They know the gender in the ultrasound, but they won't tell you. They'll keep smiling. Anyway, so that's how the DNA report looks like. So now you know the value of the DNA report. If DNA matches, the DNA could match. The sperms were found in the vagina of the prosecutrix. The DNA of that sperm matches with your sperm, your blood, you're gone. But if the sperms were found on the underwear, the sample of the sperms from the underwear matches the DNA of the accused. Not a very big thing. The sample should have been taken from the vaginal orifice, not from the underwear of the clothes. ठीक है? वो आप कैसे प्रूव करोगे कि वो अंडरवेयर उसी का था या नहीं था? It's a very he said she said situation. But the sample of vaginal swab taken from the vaginal orifice of a woman matches DNA from my blood, I'm gone. It's almost a 100% proof. Okay, if you can find judgments where the DNA was matched and the acquittal happened, please share with me. I've got cases to deal with. All right, that's your homework. Okay, so DNA report is done. 1 minute, Mr. Tutt. Let me just finish the course part and show you the final report. 1 second. Yes. Site plan. This is what I wanted to show before I finish with the. Oh, okay. Okay, can you see the screen? All right. So this is something what a site plan looks like. Site plan or site of occurrence. All right. So the police, what they're going to do is they're going to go to the site of occurrence and they're going to mark a map. That's part of their diary. They are going to mark a map. Kitni dimensions hai? They're going to measure. So the shop nearby was 10 feet by 20 feet in length. How they're going to put those measurements here. ये किसकी दुकान थी? ये किराने की दुकान थी. यहाँ पे मिठाई की दुकान थी. 10 मीटर दूर था, यहाँ पे ढाबा था, ये इस मकान में कौन रहता है, उस मकान में कौन रहता है, so on and so forth. They are going to give you the site of occurrence. It has to be part of the charge sheet. Where did the murder happen? Where did we find the dead body? Similarly, it goes for the POXO cases, rape cases, any damn case. Site of occurrence becomes the part of the charge sheet. This is part of the investigation. It's a protocol. Now, how does this, if you look at the site of occurrence, this is again from the same murder case. How does it help you as a defense lawyer? Now I'm going to tell you the story. All the eyewitnesses are family members. It's a village of at least 10,000 people. This particular spot, this is the bench, this is the bijli pole, this is the pond. It's a busy road, okay? It's a busy road, and there is a dhaba here, and there is a lot of houses. So in the 100 meters diameter, there are at least 100 houses. It's a very densely populated village. How this site map, all you have in charge sheet is 3 interested witnesses. One witness lives, as I said, 500 meters away. The other witness lives 400 meters away. The third witness is the father. One witness is the nephew and the other witness is the brother of the father and the brother of the father in a densely populated village of at least 10,000-15,000 residents. How does side of map help you to break the prosecution's case? Yes, Aditya.
Not really sure, sir.
Yes, Bilal.
Sir, there are no proper description of houses. कोई site map वगैरह.
Okay. Anybody else wants to give it a try?
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, here the question arises that a lot of people are staying nearby.
Correct.
So how come only the family members have seen this that incident?
Correct. So you are going to ask the investigating officer how many houses are there in the vicinity. Who is this Mangal? Who is this? Who is this? Is there a dhaba nearby? Did you obtain any CCTV footage? Did you speak to the neighbors? Was there a person standing, anybody who must have heard him yelling and shouting? How come in the entire village it's only 3 interested witnesses who saw the murder? Why there are no independent witnesses? There are judgments to that effect. If there is a high, it's 100% probability that there are independent witnesses, and if prosecution fails to examine that, sorry, my dog. If the prosecution fails to examine independent witness, your case is gone. I'll give you another scenario. This murder happened on a busy road. What if the murder happened in the house? What if this man knocked the door, entered with a baseball bat or anything of that sort, entered inside and smashed this man and went out? Do you think we have any scope of independent witness? No. The site of occurrence changed. The site of occurrence became house of the deceased. And only probable witnesses could be the family members. Correct? So there, we'll have to rely on what they're saying. But here, come on, village of 10,000 people and all you have is a family member. कोई आधा किलोमीटर दूर रहता है, कोई 400 मीटर दूर रहता है, और वो चीख सुन के भी आ गया 8 मिनट भाग के, पूरे गांव में से किसी को नहीं पता चला, सिर्फ उसको पता चला. ठीक है, तो मैं आपको एक बार इसका वर्जन सुनाता हूं, आपको और ज्यादा मजा आएगा इस केस में. ओके, कौन रीड करेगा? नहीं, अब तो शेयर ही नहीं किया हूं. Who wants to read? Bilal, can you see? Read, please.
Statement of dash dash. It is stated that I am the resident of above mentioned address and work in private sector. On dated this around 11 p.m. I was at home and came out after hearing some noise. Then I reached near the transformer and saw that my cousin was beaten by this so and so, son of this. They
So
together.
there's 6 accused here. There he's mentioned all the accused persons. Okay.
They together started beating with bricks and stones and stick. Then my uncle started shouting by saying, leave, leave. Then these people thinking Dash being dead ran away from there. I and Uncle Dash picked up in an unconscious state and brought him to Sarvodaya Hospital for treatment, where the doctor checked and declared him dead. And a few days ago, Dash had broken leg and hand, and keeping this enmity, these people killed him. Strictest legal action should be taken against these people. Everything written, heard, is said true.
So guys, this is the 161 statement of a eyewitness. Don't you find it funny? Leave. Only 3 people there. My uncle and picked him in unconscious state and brought him to the hospital, blah, blah, blah. Then also mentioning the enmity. And what he mentions? Bricks. Where is it? Bricks, stones, and sticks. Do you think that injury could have happened with bricks, stone, and sticks? No. This was one eyewitness. Let's go to the other one. This Bilal, read.
Stated that I am a resident of above mentioned address and do framing on dated this.
Do farming, sorry.
Do farming on dated this around 11 p.m. I was at home and came out after hearing the noise. Then I reached near the transformer and saw my nephew was being beaten by this and this. Resident of village this. Together started killing with bricks, stones, and stick with my which my brother screamed for leaving him. Thinking that he's dead, brother picked up in an unconscious state and brought him to Sarvodaya Hospital for treatment, where the doctor checked and declared him dead. After a few days ago, Dash had broken hand, keeping this enmity, killed Dash. Strictest legal action should be taken against these people. Everything written, heard, and said is true.
Copy paste. This is the second eyewitness. Okay, अब ये बहुत important report है. अब ये पढ़ो क्या है? ये date पढ़ो इसकी क्या है?
Date 31/10/2020. Section 148, 149, 302 IPC, PS Sadar, Ballabgarh, Faridabad. Blood and 3 pieces of broken chair made up of cement and 1 pair of Hawaii slippers. Before following witness, blood and 3 pieces of broken chair made up of cement having blood on it and 1 pair of Hawaii slippers were found at the crime scene, and blood as an evidence was collected in a plastic box, and 3 pieces of broken chair made up of cement having blood on it and 1 pair of Hawaii slippers were collected, and different samples were given to witness SI, and the samples were taken as an evidence under possession of the police. Witness has signed
the further report. Okay, guys, this is the diary entry of.
So what is further here?
ये further report को बोलते हैं, part of the report. I also don't know the exact meaning, but it keeps reoccurring. ठीक है? So this is the inquest के time. Blood and 3 pieces of broken chairs made of the cement, 1 pair of Hawaii slippers were picked up. Blood, 3 pieces of broken chair made up of cement having blood on it and 1 pair of Hawaii slippers were found at the crime scene, and blood as evidence was collected in a plastic box. 3 pieces of broken chair made up of cement having blood on it, 1 pair. This is the evidence now police collected. Do you see a serious discrepancy between what witnesses had mentioned and now what has become part of the police investigation and what transpired in the post-mortem report? Sequence of events change होते जा रहे हैं ना. उनको मिला क्या site of occurrence? उनको cement slab मिला. No stick, no pebble, no brick. Not even a single stone or brick stained with the blood. What was it? It was a cement slab. Period. Injuries are matching cement slab.
And you can't say conclusively, not even conclusively, you just can't say कि so and so accused used the cemented slab to,
Correct. So now अगर तुम weapon ही correct नहीं बता पा रहे हो तो. Absolutely. है ना? तुम किसी का स्पेसिफिक रोल नहीं बता पा रहे हो, तुम वेपन नहीं बता पा रहे हो, तुम कुछ भी क्लियरली नहीं बता पा रहे हो, तुमने कॉपी पेस्ट स्टेटमेंट बता दिया, तो प्रोसिक्यूशन के पास तो कुछ केस ही नहीं है. समझ रहे हो? This is the kind of charge sheet police files in India. And if you, as a defense lawyer, you do not make sense out of what they've filed, then God can only help. So that is the reason we need to go into details of everything कि किस चीज का क्या मतलब है, क्यों गड़बड़ है statements में. That is what all doing defense is all about. So that is all from my side. And I majorly covered up the investigation. There are few peculiar investigations. I'll just quickly give you the headings of those kind of investigation. I'm not going to go into the details because it's a very case specific thing. So I expect you, if the case comes, do it yourself. I'll tell you. If you could just note down this headings. In case of suspected poisoning, in case of hanging or strangulation, in case the dead body is found in a well or a tank, if it is found on an open road, if the dead body is found in the coffin, rape and sexual assault we have covered up. In case of motor accident, okay, these are few other scenarios which you could come across, and the investigation would vary depending on the situation. So if you really want to get into detail of these scenarios, you might as well. But see, as I say, it's you only dwell into these areas when the case comes to you. Otherwise, you might not get very interested. So if I go too much into all these details, then it's beyond the scope of this course. So please try to read them, find out articles if you can, find out some how investigation differs in these scenarios. All right, I majorly covered rape, POXO, and homicide for you to understand how the investigation happens in these cases. And beyond that, how the forensics, basics of the forensics, samples are sent, blood is matched, so on and so forth. Fingerprintings, ये सब हो गया है. अब मेरी तरफ से investigation almost complete हो गई है, starting from 156 to the filing of charge sheet, then inquiry by magistrate into cause of death, power to summon persons, police to inquire. This is the general. After this is the jurisdiction of the criminal courts, which is beyond the scope of this course. You want me to discuss arrest, remand in detail? It also is part of the investigation. It's a very important part of the trial before the charge sheet is filed. So I would,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We would like to.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So in next class, I'm going to discuss, chapter 5, which is arrest and remand. Okay, that's what I'm going to discuss. Thereafter, I'm going to dedicate a section on the bails. General, bailable, non-bailable, anticipatory bail. What are the key points? Because why I think it's an important topic for the beginners is because they confuse to what level do they need to go to construct their bail arguments. Okay, so the courts is looking for something else and you are singing a different song. So understanding bail arguments only comes with maturity and understanding what the judge actually wants to listen, not that you gave a whole lecture of your trial and you did too much of investigation. That's all sometimes not important. Okay? So I'll go into the bails and then probably touch upon the sequence of evidence in the trial. That's how we're going to end the course. I am going to go into detail of arrest and remand because it's an important topic during investigation. That is what is from my side. Now, if you have any quick questions, I can take and then we wind up. And I'll see you tomorrow. I'm not going to Chandigarh tomorrow because the elections there and my matter did not get listed. This was a compensatory class for Tuesday. I couldn't take it. Are you unhappy about tomorrow or we can continue tomorrow? What do you say?
We can continue, sir.
Raghav, you have any inputs about tomorrow if there is an issue, or because you were telling me that move it prior, or I got a little confused.
नहीं sir, कल कर सकते हैं. आपने traveling का कहा था तो I had put that message in the group, but I can inform them again. बाकी जो I think most of the people are here in the class, so they know.
Who doesn't want me to take a class tomorrow? Who doesn't want me to take a class? Just raise your hand. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to get mad. But if who doesn't want me to take class tomorrow, please raise your hand. Mittal doesn't want me to take class tomorrow. Anybody else? Mittal, is it too early or there is a commitment?
Sir, I'm in a huge mess. Microsoft has blocked my laptop. All my data is blocked and I'm in a serious mess. I need to get it resolved.
Okay, my difficulty is, and I'm requesting because 23rd, the courts are going to shut down and the vacation starts. All right, I am looking at 3 more classes and I really want to wind this up before Christmas. So if it is 3 or 4 classes, I want to finish it and be at peace in the vacation period. Do you mind watching a recording, Mittal, and I can take up your questions at a later stage, if that works?
Up to you, sir.
All right, thank you. I don't see very happy faces though, but क्या कर सकते हैं? अच्छा, किसी को questions है तो पूछ लो, फिर otherwise it's tata bye bye.
So just one small question
on your time management, sir.
Huh?
How do you manage the time so well that you are able to see the serials also, web series, and yet be a professional lawyer?
I'll tell you how do I manage my time so well. I do not drive to Delhi. I take metro and I have an hour and headphones and a mobile phone. So that's a time I watch all these web series. I have subscription of Netflix and Hotstar and whatnot. So it's the best use of time. Plus, I also watch these series while going to bed before I fall asleep. So, and but I'm very. I'm sorry.
People don't get the time to hit the bed. Lawyers are so busy. Your time management is perfect, sir.
No, I'm fond. You see, these web series, I don't like to watch any other thing. I'm so passionate about courtroom dramas. So I would just go to any website and if it's Netflix or it's whatever, I'll just search for courtroom dramas and I watch them. I make sure that I watch them. You learn a lot from courtroom dramas, I'm telling you. If you haven't watched Tokyo Trial, I highly recommend everybody to watch Tokyo Trial. It's beautiful. In every Tokyo Trial. It's if you're interested in international law, If you want to,
I think I have watched it. This fellow was there upon the next.
Imran Khan.
Yeah, I have seen.
He was the Bengali judge in the Tokyo trial.
I have seen.
It's a beautiful documentary cum web series, I would say. You should watch.
The point is that you still find time to watch it before bed, because people are so busy with their work that they don't find time to sleep. Also, lawyers mostly.
सर थोड़ी तो सोशल लाइफ चाहिए होगी ना. हम क्लब नहीं जाते, दारू नहीं पीते, दोस्त नहीं है, कुछ तो एंटरटेनमेंट चाहिए होगा ना. अब पूरे टाइम तो लॉक के साथ, और एंटरटेनमेंट भी लॉक, तो क्या ही करो. You can imagine how boring I could be.
I really like it. You are surprising and this thing. Wonderful.
All right, thank you for compliments, sir.
These were wonderful lectures, sir. Beautiful insight.
I appreciate. I thought it got a little boring today, but yes, it was an important topic, so we had to get.
Sir, we will still wait for that. मेरे पास नहीं पहुंची है अभी तक PPTs and the medical to format आपका है.
सर वो तो आपको एडिटर इन चीफ से पूछना पड़ेगा, सामने बैठे हैं, उनका डिपार्टमेंट है.
पहुंच जाएगी सर, पहुंच जाएगी. कल सारे पूरे हो जाएंगे अगर अभी तक नहीं हुए, बट आई हैव टू चेक. मैं चेक करने से पहले कुछ बोल नहीं सकता.
Sir, one question I have.
Yes, Aditya.
Sir, so 174 we read, and in subsection 2 there is a specific procedure what police needs to do when there is a suicide of a woman within 7 years of a marriage and all of that. And there are other cases also where police is supposed to act in a certain manner. Now, I'm not talking from the point of view of a defense counsel. As a general lawyer, if suppose I know someone, or there is a client who's saying that something has happened in their house, and the police is not doing something as per the procedure, or the police is not, suppose there is some politician involved, or there is some pressure, and the police is not acting in a certain manner, like what is there prescribed in 174(2), then what as a lawyer immediate step that we can take?
See, if you're a family member, you'll not allow the body to cremate.
Yeah.
Okay. If the FIR is not being registered, you will go to the duty magistrate. Look, there is a death in the family. It's not a suicide. We suspect. We don't want the body to cremate. Duty magistrate is going to give directions.
Okay.
Okay. And I believe that you on your own accord can also get postmortem done. But that's the way to go about it. You will approach higher authorities. Otherwise, you just go and approach duty magistrate and look, death has happened. Please get the FIR registered. Please get the postmortem done. Blah, blah, blah. Duty magistrate will come in the trouble if she doesn't do that.
Okay. So all of this is done by way of a formal application or any?
156.3, my friend.
Okay.
Everything is 156.3. By the way, Bilal is looking very handsome today with this coat and everything. So I also see few coats hanging behind. वकील साहब सिर्फ काले कोट्स पहनते हैं. या तो बहुत
सारे मेरे अंकल का थोड़ा काम है कोट्स वगैरह का, जैकेट्स वगैरह का, तो आते हैं.
बढ़िया है. फिर तो हमें भी भिजवा दो एक आध पीस.
इंशाल्लाह सर, पक्का.
ठीक है. So
got it, sir. Got it.
हाँ बस 156.3 is your remedy for everything. Acha, before we part, I'll quickly tell what is the difference between reinvestigation and further investigation. It's a very, very important topic. You might come across it. Anybody has any idea what is the difference between reinvestigation and further investigation?
Reinvestigation नए सिरे से होती है, further उसके आगे होती है.
Okay, both these investigations happen if the final report has been filed. Okay, to still the final report is not being filed either in form of a challan or a closure report. None of these investigations words will come into the picture, because if the challan is not filed, it's still the original investigation which is going on. And there is no scope of reinvestigation. So if you are unhappy with something, then only it will be further or re. So further ka jo scope hota hai, further, the scope of the further is if there is any new evidence which has surfaced. So for instance, you filed your challan, you filed your charge sheet, somehow a witness pops up in the front of prosecutor, so the police finds a witness, or they find a new evidence, they suddenly found a weapon, or they suddenly found somebody. That's when the further investigation is going to begin. Okay? The police is not acting on the witnesses they've already examined, the material on record, nothing of that sort. This is only happens when they have found something new. In this case, they file a supplementary charge sheet. Look, there is an addition to what we have filed. You're filing a supplementary charge sheet. That is the scope of the further investigation. Now, police can automatically do further investigation. Some judgments say that they need permission from the magistrate. Some say they don't need. But the news in the market is that they don't need permission from the magistrate. They just need to formally inform the magistrate. Okay? Magistrate has no power to stop further investigation. It is covered under 173 subclause 8 of CrPC. If it's open in front of somebody, just read subclause 8 of CrPC, please.
Subclause 8 of 173 is, nothing in this section shall be deemed to preclude further investigation in respect of an offence after a report under subsection 2 has been forwarded to the magistrate, and whereupon such investigation, the officer in charge of the police station obtains further evidence, oral or documentary, he shall forward to the magistrate a further report or reports regarding such evidence in the form prescribed, and the provisions of subsection 2 to 6 shall as far as may be apply in relation to such report or reports as they apply in relation to a report forwarded under subsection 2.
That's precisely what I told you. It's in more complicated language, but this is what further investigation is. Ab reinvestigation kya hota hai? Reinvestigation is, as a prosecutrix or as a victim, you're not happy with the investigation. Police has not done justice to your case. Okay? That's when, once the closure report or the final report is filed, you approach High Court or Supreme Court. High Court, more likely 482 CrPC, for directions of reinvestigation into the entire case. So you'll have to convince the High Court that, look, there is so much of lacunas in the investigation. Not done a right job. The entire charge sheet is a joke. Okay? So you convince the High Court, and it's only once the High Court has given directions for reinvestigation that investigation can happen. You cannot approach a magistrate. Please mind it. You cannot approach a magistrate or a sessions court and ask them, look, I don't like this charge sheet. You please may order reinvestigation under 156(3). No. Only power is 482. Go to High Court, convince the High Court that investigation has not happened properly. किसी भी कीमत पे conviction नहीं हो सकता. मेरे पास इतना सारा material है जो होना चाहिए था. इन्होंने investigation agency ने नहीं किया. क्यों नहीं किया? इनसे पूछ लो. That's when they'll change the investigating agency. They might send it to CIA, CBI, so on and so forth. That's the scope of the reinvestigation. You're unhappy with the investigation. Yes, Gopal.
सर प्रोटेस्ट पिटिशन किस चीज की फिर?
प्रोटेस्ट पिटिशन होती है सर, आप डिस्पाइट फाइलिंग द क्लोजर रिपोर्ट यू समन द एक्यूज्ड.
एक्यूज्ड को बुलाने की
आपने 156(3) फाइल किया फॉर व्हाटएवर रीजन. लेट्स से पुलिस फाइल्स अ क्लोजर रिपोर्ट.
Right.
Please read Arushi Talwar judgment of the Supreme Court. What happened? Police, why it is a very tricky and interesting cases, because informants, aggrieved और accused तीनों ही एक हैं. तीनों लोग ही एक हैं. ठीक है? अभी they are the parents of the deceased. They are the parents of the victim. The first investigating agency filed a closure report that, look, we do not have enough evidence to try anybody. Forget about Talwars. We're not even trying the servants, chowkidar, whosoever was possibly the accused. We do not have enough evidence. Now, what stupidity these guys did, they filed a protest petition to this closure report. And what magistrate did, funny enough, magistrate summoned both the parents as accused, despite there was a closure report filed against them. तुमने अपने ही पैरों पे कुल्हाड़ी मार ली. So it's a very, very detailed order. It's a very good exercise. Just go and read the Supreme Court judgment. This particular protest petition reached Supreme Court. And the magistrate gave a very detailed judgment on why he's inclined to summon both the parents as accused after reading the charge sheet. So, जब पुलिस क्लोजर रिपोर्ट फाइल कर देती है, तो आप क्या assume कर रहे हो कि magistrate is not going to summon the accused persons. But if you read 190 CrPC, it only says on the report filed by the police. It doesn't say it has to be a challan or it has to be a closure. Exactly. So a magistrate has all the powers to summon the accused despite there is a closure report from the state. That is what the scope of protest petition is.
तो सर 482 में जाना होगा फिर?
नहीं तो प्रोटेस्ट पिटिशन तब होता है आपको पता चल जाएगा कि क्लोजर रिपोर्ट फाइल कर दिया.
नहीं, प्रोटेस्ट पिटिशन के लिए नहीं कह रहा हूँ सर. मुझे इसके लिए हाई कोर्ट में जाना है या सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाना, तो 482 में जाना पड़ेगा हाई कोर्ट में.
करेक्ट सर. 482 is only maintainable in high court, not even in supreme.
नहीं, सुप्रीम कोर्ट में नहीं, हाई कोर्ट. और दूसरा बात सर,
आपको 482 में री इन्वेस्टिगेशन के लिए जाना है सर, प्रोटेस्ट पिटिशन के लिए नहीं जाना.
नहीं, प्रोटेस्ट पिटिशन के लिए नहीं कह रहा हूँ सर. मैं री इन्वेस्टिगेशन की बात कर रहा हूँ. री इन्वेस्टिगेशन के लिए 482 में हाई कोर्ट में जाना होगा ना सर.
करेक्ट.
और जो पिटिशन है वो मजिस्ट्रेट के सामने फाइल करनी है ना सर.
प्रोटेस्ट पिटिशन मैजिस्ट्रेट के सामने फाइल होता है. मैजिस्ट्रेट जनरली गिव्स यू एन अपॉर्चुनिटी.
यस सर. और जो आपने 173(8) की रिपोर्ट जो बताई, सप्लीमेंट्री रिपोर्ट, इसका हिंदी में नाम कहीं को पता नहीं, मैं बता देता हूँ. तितंबा रिपोर्ट कहते हैं इसको.
क्या कहते हैं?
तितंबा चालान.
तितंबा चालान. ओके. आप हैं कहाँ से सर?
मैं जयपुर से.
अच्छा. तितंबा चालान. ओके.
यस. इसलिए कई बार पढ़ने को मिलेगा आप लोगों को कई तितंबा चालान, तो कंफ्यूजन नहीं हो. सप्लीमेंट्री चालान. और अभी एक फर्द की बात आई थी. फर्द रिपोर्ट. फर्द रिपोर्ट जो है, फर्द मीन्स मेमो.
ओके.
फर्द जिसके भी आगे लगा है ना सर. फर्द शनाख्त, फर्द ये, फर्द वो. फर्द एक एडजेक्टिव है, उसका मतलब है मेमो.
It's my dog, sorry. Okay, thank you, Mr. Gopal.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so
thank you,
I think we call it a day and hopefully see you tomorrow if protest petitions are not filed by then.
सर एक क्वेश्चन था सर छोटा.
हाँ जी बोलिए.
सर ये प्रोटेस्ट पिटिशन एक्यूज नहीं डालता जब उसके ऊपर चार्जेस बन जाते हैं कि मेरे ऊपर चार्जेस अलग बने हैं?
मेरे ऊपर नहीं सर, वो ना डिस्चार्ज की एप्लीकेशन होती है पहले और उसके बाद चार्जेस फ्रेम होते हैं. आप डिस्चार्ज की एप्लीकेशन 227 में जाते हैं.
ठीक.
I'm so sorry. 227 says if upon consideration, 1 second. Chalo. If upon consideration of the record of the case and the documents submitted therewith, and after hearing the submissions of the accused and the prosecution in this behalf, the judge considers that there is not sufficient ground for proceeding against the accused, he shall discharge the accused and record his reason for doing so. So discharge is argued soon after challan is filed. अगर आप discharge की application, formal application नहीं देते हो, then the case will move on framing of charges, which is in 228. So do not confuse framing of charges and discharge. There has to be a formal application for discharge. 2 to 7 में अगर आप लगाते हैं तो उस formal application के basis पे there has to be a speaking order. But अगर आप 2 to 7 में discharge नहीं मांग रहे हो तो फिर there is no need for a speaking order. The magistrate or the session judge will move on to framing of charges. A framing of charges का जो ambit होता है वो बहुत limited होता है. आप बोलोगे prima facie the FIR or charge sheet does not say that I have done criminal breach of trust or there appears to be a criminal conspiracy in the case. तो 102, 120 भी नहीं लग सकता Your Honor. 406 नहीं लग सकता Your Honor. है ना? It could be only 498A. It could be only this because this is what the prima facie. Now the ambit of the argument of charge is only limited to. अभी कई बारी क्या होता है कि वकील साहब पूरे केस की कहानी सुना देंगे charges framing पे. That's not the ambit of the argument in the framing of charges. You only need to limit it on what is on the record, what the FIR prima facie says. So was it an attempt to murder? Was it an grievous hurt? Attempt to murder will only happen if there is you try to puncture the vital organs. But if it was a grievous hurt, then it's 325 or 6 or whatever it is, you know. So that's what you need to say कि prima facie क्या establish हो रहा है उसके basis पे charges frame होने चाहिए. जैसे हम पॉक्सो में argue करते हैं, the girl is, if she's less than 12, then पॉक्सो 6 लगेगी. अगर वो 12 से ऊपर है and the aggravated sex has only happened once, it's going to be POXO 4. If aggravated sex has happened multiple times, it's going to be POXO 6. So this is the point of contention. This is how we frame charges. So you need to know the law in order to argue for the framing of charges. आपकी IPC क्या बन रही है? That's what the scope of it is. ठीक है? चलिए. Thank you, Raghav. Thank you, everybody else.
Sir, one
Thank
last
you, sir.
Yes,
Thank you,
yes.
everyone.
scope of discharge application.
I beg your pardon?
Scope of discharge application
Yes.
regarding offences.
Yes.
It can be filed in minor offences also, or
it can be filed starting from the NI Act to murder.
I meant to say one trial is going on regarding that motor accident. Trial is going on. So can I file discharge application in that case also?
अगर आप के against prima facie कोई भी allegations नहीं है और जो charges frame हुए हैं उसके ambit में आप नहीं आते तो आप फाइल कर सकते हो या पूरा केस ही गड़बड़ है.
Okay.
सर इसमें एक छोटा क्वेश्चन था, जो डिस्चार्ज एप्लीकेशन लगेगी वो फ्रेमिंग ऑफ चार्ज से पहले ही लगेगी ना?
करेक्ट. आप चार्जेस पे नहीं, आपको एक फॉर्मल एप्लीकेशन देनी पड़ेगी. आप ये मत सोचना कि आपने आर्ग्यू कर दिया जाके तो वो फिर चार्जेस फ्रेम कर देंगे. ठीक है? तो दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Generally, trial court lawyers do not move a discharge application because they know it gets dismissed right, left, and center, and judges don't like it because it's an extra work. All they're going to say, it's a matter of trial, it's a matter of trial, it's a matter of trial. मगर आपको जबरदस्ती drag करना है तो आप फाइल कर लो. तो that's how the practice is. But अगर आपको बिल्कुल ही लग रहा है कि look, this person has been charge sheeted, ना तो FIR में इसकी कोई डिस्कशन हुई है ना इसके ऊपर ऐसे कोई चार्जेस फ्रेम हो रहे हैं, he should not be part of this trial at all, then the court might discharge you. ठीक है? एग्जाम्पल बताता हूँ. मेरे फ्रेंड ने NI का केस किया था and the bank had initiated an NI case against him. However, उसकी कोई liability ही नहीं बनती थी बैंक की तरफ. Okay? Because of whatever reasons. उसकी कोई liability ही नहीं बनती थी, so he argued discharge in that case. He says कि look, I have no liability to pay them anything, and he was actually discharged because the bank had no reply to that question of law. It's one proposition to look at it.
So I would love to discuss further more on this.
ठीक है सर. मेरा केस नहीं है, my friend did it. मैं उससे order लेके एक बारी आपको discuss करा दूंगा because I generally not not done NIs much.
So मेरा एक framing of charge पे stall कर रहा है 20 second के लिए. So I would love.
ठीक है, no issues.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Everyone have good night, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
And sir, there's no tangible protest on the group, so I think we're gonna have class tomorrow.
Okay, let's do it and finish it off, man. It's
Yeah.
already 16th tomorrow, so उसके बाद मुझे पता नहीं next week क्या travel का schedule बन जाए.
Right, sir.
ठीक है, let's finish and do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sleep well, rest well.
Good night, sir. Good night, Raghav, sir.
Good night, sir. Good night, everybody. Bye bye.
Good night, sir.
Thank you, sir.